Public relations is creating a story that will be shared with a specific audience on multiple platforms. Staying curious, getting the information right, and speaking to the ear are essential characteristics of a PR's purpose. Public relations can go as far back as to the dawn of the ages, 37,000 to 17,000 BC. Cave drawings are the earliest form of communication. They were mostly drawings of hands and animals, which were commonly found in caves in northern Spain and southern France. Starting in 551 AD with Chinese philosopher Confucius founding Confucianism, the Age of Faith played a role in spreading the word as well. St. Paul the Apostle was a theologian writer who traveled around and spread the word about Jesus. In the 1st century, he created some of the earliest Christian writings. As we move up the ladder, the Boston Tea Party during the age of print plays into effect. Samuel Adams was known as a master of propaganda and for sending messages to oppose the British monarchy. The Boston Tea Party would soon start in 1773, and his written word would be used to motivate change. The essential skills used in this common era all form one purpose: getting a message across to a certain individual or audience. The age of mass media began in the 19th century. This time period is also known as the Age of Invention, beginning with Samuel Morse inventing the telegraph in the 1830s. The next big invention was the telephone in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell, followed by the invention of the phonograph by Thomas Edison in 1877. The father of public relations was Ivy Ledbetter Lee. He was a reporter who worked his way up working for things such as the Democratic National Committee. Lee soon joined George Parker to form one of the nation's first PR firms called Parker & Lee in 1905. Later, in 1906, Lee creates the first official press release to help the Pennsylvania Railroad manage an electrical train wreck.
His publicity arsenal wasn't limited to news releases. He had many platforms for which his information was set out. Some of his projects included remaking the image of John D. Rockefeller, the owner of the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey. John D. Rockefeller Jr. was a stubborn coal mine owner. His workers were forced to work in dangerous conditions with minimal pay. Their demand for higher pay and safer conditions failed and resulted in them going on strike in 1913. After being on strike for months, the workers were kicked out of the company-owned houses and lived in tents. The company guards then shot down and lit all the tents on fire. Numerous people were killed and wounded, leaving this known as the Ludlow Massacre. Lee talked Rockefeller into getting to understand the miners by inviting them over for dinner and dancing. Lee took pictures of this event and spread positive stories to build up his reputation, and it actually worked. His essential goal was to make sure that the public was informed. He said, "People make good decisions when presented with correct information." The rise of public relations turned around during the Great Depression in the 1930s. It is known that the National Association of Manufacturers was the first industry to introduce a public relations department. They included movie shorts, leaflets, and a daily column. Television soon came running around the corner with the idea of establishing new entertainment and advertisements to your living room. The age of digital media began in 1969 when the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network connected a computer at Stanford to a computer in UCLA using satellite communication, giving rise to the Internet.
In 1982, the leading painkiller medicine in the U.S. faced a tremendous crisis when 7 people in Chicago died after taking extra-strength Tylenol capsules. The capsules were laced with deadly potassium cyanide. Following their guidelines of always putting people first, Johnson & Johnson conducted an immediate recall, which amounted to about 31 million bottles taken off the shelves and a loss of over $100 million. To regain a good reputation, Tylenol reintroduced the product by promoting capsules with the triple seal packaging. They also offered coupons and discounts to customers. They sent out 2,200 people across the country to give presentations to the medical community to regain their confidence.
At this day and age, public relations heavily relies on social media. Now that everyone has the capability to be a reporter with their cell phones, it's incredibly important for the public relations industry to gain trust with their audience and share accurate information.
As the changing world around us continues on, we as humans gain knowledge and insight on talking to people and telling stories that are essentially newsworthy. No matter the time period or the career field, there will always be a need for public relations. Public relations is all about the connections and communication between all different kinds of people. From the dawn of the ages to today, we know one thing that is for certain: Stories will always need to be told.